From Geppetto Studios in New Freedom, Pennsylvania, welcome to the Cosmic Geppetto Podcast, your home for inclusive, positive geek culture, where we talk about movies, comics, music, books, and whatever else we feel like. Please welcome your host. Shh, he doesn't know that Donald Glover and Childish Gambino are the same person. Brad Mendenhall.
Hey kids, it's episode 297 of the Cosmic Geppetto Podcast. It's a mini episode with breaking news. As I'm recording this, we are, about 24 hours removed from the announcement that Jonathan Majors, who has played Kang the Conqueror in 2 seasons of Loki, as well as the third Ant-Man film, has been fired from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm not sure if fired is the right term. They've parted ways. Actually, I think fired is the right term. Majors was convicted on 2 counts related to... he's had legal issues. There were 2 convictions. It seems that Marvel was waiting for the outcome of the trial. I am not a legal expert. To me, for whatever value there is, I believe that Marvel was sort of set that they were going to part ways, but the conviction was enough to pull the trigger on that. I don't know. Often I know there are morality clauses in the contracts. It might have made it easier for Marvel/Disney to end the relationship with those convictions. Might have made it easier not to pay him for stuff. Not that long ago, Johnny Depp was removed from the Fantastic Beasts films, and they had to pay him. They basically paid him, I want to say it was at least $10 million to not be in the last Fantastic Beasts movie. My understanding, which again is imperfect, but my understanding is they didn't have enough to... Johnny Depp was having so much bad press on account of the trial and the turmoil with his ex-wife Amber Heard, and they wanted to walk away from him, but they still had to pay him. I am wondering if Jonathan Majors, because of those convictions, that was enough for them to end the contract and not have to pay him or pay him less. I don't know. There's a lot of talk about, well, what's next? Kang, the character that Jonathan Majors was playing in the Marvel films and TV shows, was going to be the central antagonist in the next Avengers movie. It was actually going to be called Avengers: Kang Dynasty. I wasn't particularly excited about that. Majors is a very charismatic performer, a very good actor. He was an actor on the rise. However, Kang, the character, and I know there's some big Kang fans, both part of the Cosmic Geppetto world and in our fandom. I don't know that the take they had on Kang was strong enough, both in personality, powers, which I think have been sort of vague so far. Design, it wasn't a striking design as Thanos was. A lot of reasons. Introducing him as a villain in the third Ant-Man film, I don't know if that worked. Remember, Thanos did so little in the movies leading up to Infinity War. You just got a little bit of Thanos, and it was enough to pique everyone's interest. And then he shows up, and within the first 5-10 minutes of being a proper villain in a Marvel film, he beats up the Hulk with relative ease. Kang hasn't had that. Marvel is in a weird place right now where they're a little bit on a losing streak, while people certainly enjoyed Guardians, but Ant-Man didn't do well. Marvel's has done poorly, and they need to use a term that I always enjoyed in the sporting world. They need to get off the schneid. They need a couple wins. I think Deadpool 3 is definitely going to be a win. I don't know if Captain America Brave New World will be. I don't know if Thunderbolts will be. I honestly don't know if Avengers Kang Dynasty, if there was enough interest there. There wasn't a lot of buzz about the director, who, if memory serves, it was the same director who did Shang-Chi, which was a good movie, but it wasn't. That announcement didn't excite people the way that Joss Whedon directing the first Avengers movie. People were excited about that. The Russo brothers, who had come off of the Captain America Winter Soldier and Captain America Civil War, people were excited about the Russo brothers taking over the franchise. And I don't know who could get people excited about that. Perhaps I don't know. Sam Raimi, I think people will be excited. I don't know if Sam Raimi would do a great job with it. And I love Sam Raimi, but he is. I don't know if an Avengers movie plays into his strengths at all. Perhaps if the guy, I'm completely blanking on the name, but the director of the first two Iron Man films, who's gone on to do, who went on to do the Lion King live action, and at one point was considered to be a front runner to direct the first Avengers film. I think people will be excited by that. Obviously, there's big names out there: James Cameron, Tim Burton. They would never do it in a million years. So I don't know. I don't know the names. So I don't think people were excited about it from that perspective. People just weren't excited about Kang Dynasty. I'm wondering if either it would be a wise idea to shut it down, move away from Kang, recast the role, and have him and have the character knocked out, or put on the sidelines in the first 10 minutes of Thunderbolts, or sort of refocus on what you're doing here. My understanding, and these movies are so far out time-wise, my understanding was Kang Dynasty was going to lead into Avengers Secret War. I wonder, lean into the Secret War of it, and have the next Avengers movie be Secret War Part 1 and then Secret War Part 2. Maybe even the people who aren't familiar, and Secret War was a 12-issue miniseries, and it was, I think, like the second comic book I ever got was an issue of Secret War where Spider-Man got the black costume. And the antagonist was the Beyonder, who's this all-powerful, omnipotent being. And you basically, in Secret War, Kang was obliterated pretty early into partway through the series. I think you could do that, change it around where the Beyonder pulls all the characters from these different facets of the multiverse, and Kang's there, and Beyonder, as a show of power, obliterates Kang immediately, and shows how tough the Beyonder is, and also removes Kang from the equation. It's very much a shame that this happened. Jonathan Majors, who, regardless of, or to the side of his personal behaviors, both in his personal relationships, as well as there have been a lot of rumors about him being difficult on the set, was an on-the-rise actor. He was very good. I know, apparently, a movie that I believe has been completed that was also from Disney. He was apparently excellent in it. There was talk about Oscar buzz, and that movie's now been shelved. And I hate movies. I hate hearing when movies are shelved, because regardless of the fact that somebody with questionable or abhorrent personal behavior, it's still, there's so many people involved in making movies happen, and so many people whose work will never be seen. And it's bad enough when it's a case of Batgirl where allegedly that's because it was a bad movie. But when it's something like this where it's a good movie, it's a movie that deserves to be seen, it's a movie that would have gotten award consideration, but when all those people's work is not going to see the light of day until who knows when, that's really heartbreaking. I don't know if Jonathan Majors will ever be able to reestablish his career. I'll be very curious to see 5 years from now if he ever is able to get back even a small semblance of his career. We're not seeing any new work from Armie Hammer. We are not seeing any new work from Kevin Spacey. I'll be see what happens. It's really heartbreaking, and to see a top tier talent, his career destroyed because of his own behaviors, and it's really a shame. So on that happy note, I will be back soon, and until then, in the words of Jarf Arden,
see you in the funny pages.
Subscribe to the Cosmic Geppetto podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever quality podcasts can be found. Rate and review us while there. Follow us on Twitter at Cosmic G-Pod, and we will follow you back. Unless you're a jerk. We don't follow jerks. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cosmic Geppetto. We love hearing your ideas for upcoming episodes. Email us at cosmicgeppetto@comcast.net. I'll come again now, you hear?